The rise of nationalism in Europe. In order to understand the rise of nationalism in Europe, we have to understand this picture first. This is a printed picture which was prepared by Frédéric Chariot, a French artist, in 1848. Actually, he had prepared a series of four printed picture, and by which he wanted to show the dream of the world made up of democratic and social republic. But in this picture, let us discuss the things whatever the Frédéric Chariot wanted to show us about the rise of nationalism and the rise of nation state in Europe. First of all, we can see a Statue of Liberty in this picture, and this is a personified female figure of a liberty. And in this picture, the Statue of Liberty is carrying a torch of enlightenment in one hand and the Charter of the Right of Man in the other. And the people, especially the people of Europe and America, men, women of all ages and all social classes, marching in a long train and offering homage to the Statue of Liberty as they pass by it. So in front of the picture, on the foreground, we can see the scattered remains of the symbol of absolutist institutions that are a monarchical form of government that was centralized, militarized, and repressive. And the procession was led by the United States and the Switzerland. They were identified by their national flag, their national costumes they wear. They were identified as a distinct group. The different countries are identifying in this picture as a distinct group of people with the help of their different national flag and different national costumes they wear. So why US and Switzerland are leading the procession? They already were the nation state at that time in Europe. But the procession is followed by France, because in this picture we can see that the France is has just reached the statue, followed by Germany, Austria, the Kingdom of Two Sicilies, Lombardy, Poland, England, Ireland, Hungary, and Russia. That means France has just attended the creation of nation state, and other countries are on the way to the creation of nation state. That means this picture is depicting the progress of the creation of nationalism, the creation of feeling of nationalism, and the organization of different countries of Europe towards the formation of nation states. But you can see from the heaven in this picture above, the Christ, saints, and the angels grace upon the scene to symbolize the fraternity among the nations of the world. During 19th century, nationalism emerged as a force which brought changes in the political and mental world of Europe towards the creation of nation state in place of multinational dynastic empires. So what is nation state actually we are talking about? The concept of nation state was one in which the majority of the citizen came to develop a sense of common identity and share history or descent, culture, and language, etc. In this chapter, we are going to discuss about the diverse processes through which nation state and nationalism come into being in 19th century in Europe. The French Revolution and the idea of the nation. There were some changes that happened in France after the French Revolution in 1789, like some political and constitutional changes. French revolutionary introduced various measures and practices that could create the sense of collective identity among the French people. Uh, the idea of fatherland, the idea of citizen, emphasized the notion of the united community enjoying equal right under the constitution. New French flag was chosen to replace the former royal standard. The State General was elected by the body of active citizens and renamed the National Assembly. Internal customs duties and the dues were abolished, and the uniform system of weights and measures were adopted. Regional dialects were discouraged, and the French, as it was spoken and written in the Paris, become the common languages of the nation. So these were the changes that happened in the France after the French Revolution, and there was a sense of nationalism was created for the first time in Europe, in France. But the French were not satisfied with the achievement they had in their country, but they declare that it was the mission of the France, and it was the destiny of the France nation to liberate the people of Europe from despotism. So they wanted their freedom they enjoyed had to be reach the other cities of Europe, other countries of Europe, to liberate the people of the other country from the despotic rule. So the news of that reforms in France were spread in the other countries of the Europe, and they began to establish setting up of the club, which was known as the Jacobin clubs, to welcome the French army to their country, to introduce the liberty. Uh, the armies of the France moved into the Holland, Belgium, Switzerland, and the much of Italy in 1790s. So to carry the idea of nationalism abroad. There are so many changes that was introduced by Napoleon in France. No doubt, Napoleon destroyed democracy in France, but he introduced a civil code in 1804, which was also known as the Napoleon Code, by which the privileges based on birth were abolished, established equality before law, and secure right to property. This Napoleonic Code was exported to the region of the French control, like Dutch Republic, in Switzerland, in Italy, in Germany, and they also abolished the feudal system and freed the peasants from the serfdom and dues. In cities and towns also, guilds restriction were removed, and transport and communication system were improved. Peasants and artisans and workers and new businessmen enjoy the newfound freedom in France. But soon, the area in which was controlled by the France, the people initially accepted the people of France and French army, but soon the enthusiasm of the people was turned to the hostility because of the lack of a new administrative arrangement and political freedom, increased taxation, censorship in press, and the incorporation of the people in French army and required to conquer the rest of the Europe. So these are the changes in the feelings of the people of different countries of Europe towards the French army.